Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again, and happy Veterans Day. Special shout out to my fellow YouTubers, subscribers, and viewers who are military veterans. I hope you got the day off today, and I hope you really get the chance to enjoy it. Don't forget to check out those restaurants offering those free meals to veterans. I know my dad and I try to hit up as many of those as we can. Usually ones for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not only do we get really good food, we get a chance to sit down and talk with other military veterans. My favorite ones to talk to are the World War II veterans, but unfortunately, there's fewer of those each and every year. Now, I come from a long line of Army veterans. My grandfather on my mother's side served in World War II in the European theater. My grandfather on my dad's side, he served in World War II in the Pacific theater. My dad, he served in Vietnam, and both my brother and I served in Iraq. My brother got deployed, I think it was about 4 months after I got back home. So my poor mom was just going nuts for almost 2.5 years. Now, while I was in Iraq, that's when I discovered that I enjoy videoing. I had a little power shot camera about the size of this checkbook here, so I'd go around and film selfie style. I guess it was before it was known as a selfie. And instead of writing letters home, I would just film my day-by-day activities, burn it onto a DVD disc, and send it home to the family to watch. And my stuff was even shared with our unit's family support group. So I kind of branched out to make sure that not only did I film what I was doing, but I wanted to film what some of my fellow soldiers were doing as well. And I really enjoyed doing that.
Well, here we are now at the rifle range. This is where we do our qualifications on our M16. Just in case there's one day where we get invaded by sheets of paper and we need to attack them. Chuck?
Refuge.
You're good, man.
Ah, you caught him with the glass.
Got me with the glasses on. I don't like getting seen in public with the widescreens too often.
Hey, the pretty boys in the unit, they're afraid of getting dirty. Hardcore soldier. Hardcore soldier. Hey, wussy.
Some of my footage was even picked up by the military channel and was shown on their television series, My War Diary. And that was pretty cool. Now, my unit, we all made it back home in February of 2005, each and every soldier accounted for. I honorably discharged, I believe, was in 2006, and the rest is history. Now, on to the figure we're going to review, because I can't do my channel without reviewing a figure. The one I've picked for my Veterans Day special is one that just called out to me my last day at TFCON. I had about $50 in my pocket, and I was determined to buy something to go home with. So I passed the Transformerland display and saw this. This is the Mecha Warrior Xovergen. I believe Bert the Stormtrooper pronounced it that way. And his name is the Grand Patriot. And I thought, okay, this now has my attention. So when I picked it up, it's a nice heavy box, and I opened it. It wasn't sealed, you just open. It was in this beautiful military green collar. And right there, I knew I had to have this. And what really sealed the deal was this stuck on it. $25 for this figure. So he is coming home with me. So this is the Mech Warrior Grand Patriot. I think he came out in 2010. Box, really sturdy. You've got the image of the Grand Patriot here in Optimus Prime color as opposed to the green. On the side of the box is product details. On the other side is more product details. There's a picture. I have no idea. Back of the box is very plain. I'll open this up again for you. I love how he's packed. He's packed in this nice foam packing. He's got the cab itself. There's the trailer with the missiles and 2 big old guns. So without further ado, let's get this guy out of the package and take a closer look at him. And oh yeah, welcome to Patriot Prime Reviews. Now, once you get the Grand Patriot all out of his packaging, you'll see that he comes with an instruction booklet. And this booklet is more of a comic book than it is instructions. I mean, you've got some pictures of what the product can do, but most of the book is a comic. Now, granted, right there in the middle is the instructions, and these are not great. Very vague instructions. Down here on the bottom, you see pictures of what the product can turn into, but not how to get it there. So a lot of figuring out the instructions or figuring out how to transform on your own. And as you can see, these are pictures of the Optimus Prime colored version and not the military green version that I have. Now, the comic book is pretty cool. I like the artwork. Artwork's really neat. So that's pretty much it for the instructions. Now, on a side note, right there, that is pronounced Xovergen, not Xovergen or Xovergen, but I'm really not going to be pronouncing that much. I'm good with calling him Mecha Warfare. So anyway, there's the instructions. Now, he also comes with a translucent blue disc that I believe is supposed to represent the Matrix. That is the exact same mold on either side. I'll show you how that works later on. He has an extra head. I really like the looks of this one, but I'll go into why it's not on this guy when we go over robot mode. He also has 2 blasters, and these are awesome. They are huge and very reminiscent of Optimus Prime's Generation 1 blaster. Now, these are translucent blue painted black, and I think it looks really, really good. But these are quite hollow. You can look right through them. Now, both of these are exactly the same. Now, you can take these weapons and you can place them either on the side of the vehicle, like so, or there are little holes right here on the back. So we'll place them in like that to give him a little bit more artillery. The Grand Patriot's vehicle mode is a homage to G.I. Joe's Rolling Thunder. Now, I'm not that familiar with the G.I. Joe vehicle, but at first glance, this toy does do a decent representation. I love the molded details throughout the vehicle and the limited paint applications. You got red up here on the top, the yellow stripes, yellow lights, beautiful chrome right there. You've got the Earth Federation Tactical Force along the side, missiles up here on top. Now, they don't move, at least not in this mode. We'll go over that momentarily. Collar here on the front, more molded details on the trailer. I love the wheels, and they are pinned in. They're just not tabbed in, and there's the back. Now, as far as the vehicle cab, very futuristic looking. Lots of nice molded details on this as well. Same wheels. Really, really cool. I love the turrets up here on top, and these can move left and right. Nice, clear blue windows. I mean, this thing looks sweet. Little yellow lights right there with the grill. Now, one problem I have with the vehicle mode is right here. These little tabs are where this section right here hooks in, and it just doesn't hook very tight. You just kind of have to line it up and hope it connects. As you see, it doesn't. Let's see here. But once you get it in, it maintains and you can roll along. Man, that even sounds heavy. But yeah, that is really, really cool looking vehicle. I dig it. I think it looks so badass. Now, I'm going to do this review a little bit different. I am going to go over the trailer and base mode first because of all the interactivity that can be done with the cab. Transforming the trailer to base mode is really simple. You're just going to take the back of the trailer and open it up. But you want to watch this missile pod section here. This is also the trailer hitch. See the little hole right there on the missiles? See the peg right there? These peg in and lock together. So once you open this up, the missile pod will come out. So we'll go ahead and put that to the side. Open up the base completely. Let me get that all in shot. There is support struts underneath. You want to swing those out. There is a little platform right here. You're going to swing that out. And let's see, move this up out of the way just a little bit. Swing up these computer screens. And now you take this section and rotate it around just like that. And there is base mode. Let me get that all in frame. Now you can take the missile pod that I just took off and the Grand Patriot cab, and what you're supposed to do is be able to attach the missile pod to the back of the cab, but it just doesn't want to stay on there good. You press down hard, the legs separate, but it's kind of disappointing that doesn't work. It's a balancing act, really. But you get the idea of what it's supposed to do. This goes into the complaint I had earlier. These pegs just don't fit into this slot well enough, and it's kind of disappointing. I mean, that would look really cool. Plus, the hinge right here is a floppy mess. It cannot support the weight of the missiles. Now, another option is you can pop these missiles off, and you have this platform. This is the same platform that's over here on the base, so you can take this section off right here and attach it like so, making a mobile version of this platform. Now right here, you can take one of the guns and it'll peg in. It's got these little pegs right there. It'll peg in there after it falls off the bottom. And now you have a giant cannon that should mount onto this vehicle, but unfortunately, same with the missiles, it just will not peg in. And the missile just doesn't, excuse me, the gun doesn't stay in as well. You can also place the guns here on top for a double barrel cannon, but same thing, it will not attach. So good idea, poor execution. We'll go ahead and put this section back on the base here. Now these, see they got the little holes right here, which coincide with the little peg holes right there. You could screw this to that and make that a permanent fixture if you'd like. I might do that since I can't really utilize this with the cab, but let me turn this around. Here's the front of the base. You can do the same thing. Attach the gun to the front. So you have this giant mega cannon right there on front of the base, and that stays in a little better than on the vehicle. Once again, you can also take both weapons, or both guns, put those on top, so now it has a double-barreled cannon there guarding the base. Now you can also take the two missiles and attach these on top of that section, and you have the missile pod. But once again, the weight, it just can't support the weight. Now you have to use this section here to attach the missiles, because even though this kind of looks like what was on the truck, this has those raised sections there, so the missiles will not attach. They don't go down flat. You can only put the missiles on the flat piece on the section that goes on the truck, like that. Now these missiles do separate. There's just a little tab that holds them together, so you can kind of place them on various parts of the base. Now they have this little flip top, and I honestly have no idea why that does that, unless you just want to put them on the ground like pylons and they support themselves, but that's the only thing I can figure out what to do with these. Now, of course, another option, if you want, take the missiles. There's these big pegs right there. Slot those into the holes on the side of the base. Then you can take the blasters, put the blasters on top, and you've got that going on. But of course that leaves, that leaves that section empty. So there's a lot of playability and possibility with this base, just nothing works. Now let's take a look at the inside of the base, and I decided to make this base look really G1 by giving it two gun towers there on the back. But inside of the base is really cool. I love the diamond plating on the floor. That looks really neat. You've got those translucent blue computer screens. On the inside, Great molded detail. There's a computer screen there. I love the painted cables. Of course, that's the exact same thing on both sides. I think that looks really, really good. Now, supposedly, this base is designed to interact with G.I. Joe figures. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any G.I. Joe figures, but my son has a couple of DG Carls. We've got Fumbles and Sweatshop. So, I guess I could see these guys manning the station. You got Fumbles here on the screen. Sweatshop here can take a nap. It's just not going to work for me. These guys are too big. Granted, they may not be the size of regular G.I. Joes. But I do think this base is very fitting for Legends class figures. See, now I think that works a lot better. You've got Power Glide here, you got Tailgate watching the computer screens, and Outback guarding the perimeter. So yeah, I like that. It works really well with the Legends class. Now let's take a look at the Grand Patriot himself. Now, before I get started transforming the Grand Patriot to robot mode, I want to let you guys know that this guy has a strange and fiddly transformation. So I'm going to try my best to make sure it goes as smooth as possible, but I make no promises. Now, I love the cab mode. I said this before, it's really cool looking, very futuristic looking. I mean, it just has a nice profile to it. Now, I did mention earlier that these cannons rotate left and right. They actually go all the way around, a complete 360, though they do get caught up right there on that section of the cab. So just want to let you guys know that. Now, on to transformation. First thing you're going to do is take the sides of the cab and bring these down. These, of course, will form the robot arms. You want these down and out of the way. You need them out of the way for this section right here that's already popped loose, the front tires. They actually peg into the body right there. So you're going to unpeg those on both sides, bring this section up and over, kind of clearing up some space here. And now what you're going to do is this little bar here, this is just held in by friction. It could use a pin. This thing pops off so easy, so I'm going to try my best not to have it pop off, but normally when I transform this thing, I pop this off and just fool with it later. So what you're going to do is you take this white section here and you want to bring or twist these up 3 clicks. If I can get it to do it. 1, 2, 3. And the other side. And like I said, popped right off. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 4. All right, get that even. Then you're going to flip these wheels around. And then you're going to take this section here and collapse it in on itself. Now we'll go ahead and leave that alone for a second. Get this all out of the way. You're going to take the waist, twist that around, and now you're going to pull the legs down. They slide down, and then you want to click them into place. Takes a little bit of pressure. There we go. 1 and 2. So now, this is the part I hate. The waist, you have to fold this section down onto his waist, or fold the chest down onto the waist. There is a square T-peg in there that you have to rotate this around. And I swear to God, it feels like you're going to break this every time. So I just kind of bend and twist at the same time. Slides right down there, and then slide it back. Now, back to the rear of the vehicle. You're going to flip these tires around so these pegs right here line up to these slots on the back of the figure. You want to get those lined up and then squeeze them into place. They don't just slide in. It takes some force to get those locked into place. Get in there. Make sure the arm's out of the way. There we go. Those are in good. Bring the arm down. Now this section right here, you're going to fold down, and that reveals the robot head. And just take this section all along the back of the robot. Down here on the legs, flip the feet up. The heel spur back. Do that on both sides. And he's got his little toes right here. You want to flip these out. There's one. I don't know why this one's causing such grief. All right, there we go. And it just fell back into place. So now we have the toes out and back in. Let's go ahead and get him stood up. Now to finish off the transformation, you're going to take the arms, slide the forearms down, rotate around, and flip out the fist. So there you have the right arm and the left. Lastly, down here on the legs, you're going to flip these tabs up, and these form knee guards. And there you have the Grand Patriot in robot mode. Now, robot mode doesn't look bad at all. Minimal use of paint, but what is on here really works. You got the yellow there on the belt, the headlights, face sculpt is really nice. Looks pretty much like Optimus Prime. He's got great light piping, if I can get the light to catch. There you go. So I really like the looks of that. As far as articulation's concerned, the arms can do a complete 360, though they kind of catch on the wheels back here. He has an elbow bend and a elbow rotation. The arms can go up as long as they're lined up straight. If you move them to the side, they're not going up at all. The shoulder cannons, they can rotate a complete 360. He has a waist swivel. He's got flaps here on the waist, so you can actually get the legs to go up and down. He has a knee bend, a slight knee bend. You can't get a lot there. And like I said, these flaps come up. He's got weird joints. It's like a different type of plastic. And one other thing.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Yeah, that sounds horrible. That's not a ratchet. That's plastic on plastic. Those are really tight. He does have a toe bend. And of course, these toes tend to flip in a lot. I wish they'd lock in place. He also has cannons down here on his shins, kind of like Fortress Maximus. So you can pop those out. And they lock into place really good. Get the arm back down. Hip skirts in place. And now let's give him his weapons. He can wield both of his big cannons. Put one in this arm here. One here. And there you have the Grand Patriot, all armed and ready for battle. Now, as I said earlier, he came with an extra head. I like the looks of this head, but it's got the clear plastic on the back for light piping, yet the front of the face is painted. You can't get any light piping through it. Plus, when I attached it to the figure, the head was really floppy. It just flopped around. It just did not have a secure fit on the ball joint. Now, he also came with this little matrix disc. And how this works, flip down the front here and just pop that into place. And now he has his blue matrix of leadership. Go ahead and shut that flap back. Now, I do wish the flap here was solid. I think it kind of looks like he has a speaker on his chest. Now, what's also cool with the Grand Patriot, you can arm him up with other weapons. You can attach the turret from base mode along with one of his cannons to give him a Megatron fusion cannon style look. You can attach the missiles to his forearms and give him a Generation 2 Combat Hero Megatron type of look. And another cool option is that on the trailer here, you've got these chrome gas cans. These actually pop off, and there's guns on the inside. So it just takes a second to get those open. And now he has a double barrel cannon that he can attach to both forearms. Now, I really like how that looks, but the only problem is these guns are super duper floppy. I mean, the only way they're going to point straight is you have to angle his arms straight down. Now for some quick size comparisons. Here is the Mecha Warfare Supreme Tactical Commander Grand Patriot with Generation 1 Optimus Prime, Transformers Armada Deluxe Optimus Prime, and War for Cybertron Siege Optimus Prime. Mecha Warfare Supreme Tactical Commander Grand Patriot is a fantastic figure to look at. You do not want to play around with this guy. The joints are super floppy, pieces fall off, things just don't stay hooked together. I mean, I'm glad I only paid $25 for the guy, because if I paid any more, I would have been pissed off. Now granted, I don't know that much about third-party figures, and considering this guy came out almost a decade ago, maybe I'll cut him a little bit of slack. After all, he is really, really cool looking. So there you go, guys. 2010's Mecha Warfare Supreme Tactical Commander Grand Patriot. Now, if you like the video, don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. I have a lot more Transformers I want to put in front of this camera.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video I made. I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did making it. Thought it'd be nice to see some of the other images of Iraq other than what the news shows. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a scary country, but it's as fascinating as it is frightening. I'm glad I could share that with you. And just to take something home, just on behalf of myself and the rest of Charlie Battery, we'd like to thank you for your support and all your love and care for us over here in Iraq. I'm Specialist Jason B. Morgan, signing out.